Prepare to dive into one of the most distressing and complex stories in Greek mythology. The myth of Orestes has no monsters or labyrinths, but moral dilemmas, family trauma, and a torment born from guilt. In this video, you'll meet the man who killed his own mother in the name of justice, and who was condemned to carry the weight of his decision until the world itself decided what justice truly meant. Orestes was not pursued by men, but by ancient, relentless, invisible forces, the Erinyes, spirits of guilt and vengeance. This is the story of Orestes, the son who avenged his father, but lost himself. It all begins with Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, commander of the Greeks in the Trojan War. Before setting off to war, Agamemnon committed a terrible crime. He sacrificed his own daughter, Iphigenia, to please the goddess Artemis and secure favorable winds. His wife, Clytemnestra, never forgave him. For 10 years, she silently fed her desire for vengeance. When Agamemnon returned from war, victorious but arrogant, he found a different palace and a transformed wife. Clytemnestra, alongside her lover Aegisthus, welcomed him with a feast and mercilessly killed him. Before gods and men, the king fell by the hand of his own wife. That crime set everything in motion. As a child, Orestes was saved by his sister Electra and taken far from Mycenae. He grew up in silence, in exile, while the throne of his father was usurped by Aegisthus. But the memory of the murder and the promise of vengeance never left him. Years later, Orestes returned to Mycenae in secret. He reunited with Electra, who had also been humiliated and pushed into oblivion by her own mother. Together, they crafted a plan. It was not just about avenging Agamemnon. It was about restoring the honor of the house of Atreus, stained by blood and betrayal. Orestes disguised himself, entered the palace, and executed Aegisthus. But the hardest act was yet to come. Standing before his mother, Clytemnestra, Orestes hesitated. She wasn't just the murderer of his father. She was the woman who had brought him into the world. Clytemnestra tried to defend herself. She pleaded for mercy. She reminded him of the milk she fed him, of the arms that once cradled him. But Orestes no longer saw a mother. He saw the embodiment of injustice. And so, with trembling hands, he killed her. The blood of the mother mingled with the blood of the father. The lineage of the house of Atreus stained once more. The cycle of vengeance was complete, but peace never came. By killing his own mother, Orestes broke one of the most sacred laws of ancient Greece, the absolute respect for blood ties. Even though he had served justice, he had committed an act that placed him outside the natural order. And that's when they came. The Erinyes, ancient spirits born from spilled blood and unresolved vengeance. They did not scream. They did not strike with weapons. But they invaded the mind. They whispered at night, showed visions, corrupted dreams. Orestes, once firm and determined, became a broken man, wandering, tormented, without peace. The Erinyes would not let him rest. They were everywhere, inside him. Orestes' punishment was not a prison, nor physical torture. It was something far more cruel, the constant presence of guilt. The Erinyes followed him like shadows, and every step, every breath, reminded him of what he had done. The world saw him as a tragic hero, but inside, he was in ruins. He could not live, but he could not die either. His punishment was to continue, living with the blood of his own mother on his hands and in his spirit. And as long as the Erinyes hunted him, there would be no absolution. In search of relief, Orestes wandered to the temple of Apollo, seeking guidance. The god, who had inspired his vengeance, commanded him to go to Athens and undergo a trial. For the first time, justice would no longer be simply vengeance, it would be debated. In the sacred court of Athena, the judges of men were divided. Some saw Orestes as a hero, someone who avenged his father's death. Others saw him as a monster, someone who killed his own mother. In the vote of Minerva, the goddess of wisdom herself, Orestes was absolved. The Erinyes screamed, but they were transformed. Athena gave them a new role. They would no longer be mere fury, but would become guardians of moral order. But even after absolution, the silence within Orestes remained. The story of Orestes is not about victory. It is about wounds that justice does not heal. He was absolved, but never forgave himself. His eternal punishment was not imposed by the gods, but built from within. Orestes reminds us that some wounds don't need chains, only memory. We hope you enjoyed this deep and symbolic journey through the myth of Orestes. Now tell us, what did you take from this powerful story? Leave your comment below. We read them all. And if you enjoy mythology, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. And of course, like the video and share it with other mythology fans. More epic stories are on the way.